Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day. And we're going to talk about discipline over motivation today. This isn't the first time you've heard this one, right? So discipline over motivation. Motivation doesn't last. That's why we recommend that daily also, right? So I heard, I don't know if it was Zig Ziglar back in the day. They said people used to tell him motivation doesn't last. He said neither does bathing and showering. That's why we recommend it daily. And so you got to motivate yourself daily, every day. Find a way to motivate yourself. But that ain't here what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about discipline, because there's going to be times in your life, there's going to be times in your month where you're not going to feel like it. You're not going to feel motivated. And I think what separates the champions, the professionals from the amateurs, is can you get yourself to do the things that you know you need to do when you're not motivated, when you don't quite feel like it. And that, to me, is where discipline is shown and discipline is instilled and installed into your life. It's called showing up anyway. We show up anyway. We appreciate having motivation, but we're going to show up no matter what, regardless of how we feel, because there's going to be times where you got to act yourself into feeling. That means you don't feel like doing it. You just got to take action and get it done anyway. And eventually you'll start to feel better if you could take the right approach mentally. And so discipline is doing what's necessary even when it's hard. Now, let me give you a tip on this. I think people that struggle with discipline struggle with a why to whatever it is that they need to do. So they're having a hard time connecting the dots as to why this is important for them to do, and then reminding themselves of that why, or connecting this thing with a bigger why, a big enough why in order to do it. Okay, so let me think of like something that somebody wants to do, whether it's working on yourself, which means, since one of our recent message was getting up in the morning early and getting on your routine. All right. So I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like exercising. I don't feel like listening to something positive. I don't feel like getting in the cold tub or a cold shower. I don't feel like doing any of those things. Okay. Now, how can I connect that to a big why? All right, well, I want to be the best father that I could be for my children by example and by my patience level, the best that I could possibly be. I have to provide leadership to people in business that are looking to me. First thing is they have to see me doing a lot of the things. So I have to lead by example, the things that are important. And if they have a better morning start off to their day, they're going to be able to deal with life stresses easier. They're going to be calmer in a stressful environment. They're going to have probably more success. They're probably going to get along better with their teammates, with their leaders, with the people that they lead, all these things. And so it allows me to be better for them. It allows our business to be more successful, which also is going to help our youth program. It's going to help my children. As my children get up and grow up and they watch me do my routine in the morning, there's some of the, there's this quote out that says, everybody's jealous of what you got. Nobody's jealous of how you got it or what you had to do to get it. Okay. There are so many mental beatings that I've had to take in the last 20 years to help be a part of a team that is still growing, thriving, and successful, today, that if people got an inside look at that, it's not appetizing. The outcome is appetizing. The fun, the highlights, that's cool. But the beatings, that isn't cool. And the only way that I've gotten through that stuff healthy, without like major depression and getting on, all different types of things to get through it, mentally and breaking down and stuff. The only way I've been able to find a rhythm through that is through my morning routine and ritual of getting up, take care of myself. And so I want that for my children. Well, they don't want to hear what I'm saying. They got to see what I'm saying. They got to see what I'm saying. And if I'm living it for so long, it just becomes a part in their mind that this is what a man does. This is what daddy does. This is what we got to do. And it maybe sets a tone for them to be able one day at the right time for me to lay them right on that platform and get them those habits, which will make them better in whatever it is that they choose to do, and get them through life's adversities, because you're going to have those adversities. And so that gets me all the way back to, you see how deep the why? I can keep going. Do you see how deep the why is? Why we're up at 5? Why we're doing these things? Why all these, we ain't even get into the business records that we want to break, the haters that we want to prove wrong, how it all starts with we got to get ourselves ready internally for that battle. I didn't even dive into that. There's so much built up in the reason why that it makes the what way easier. I remember the old president of our company, our corporate company that we sell the insurance products for, was in our office a long time ago. And he said, hey, how many of you think you could make a sale in the next hour, with no leads, or whatever, of X amount of dollars? How many of you think you could do that? And a couple people raised their hand, but not many. And then he said, well, what if I told you in this briefcase is $1 million, and I'll give anybody that makes a sale with no leads in the next 60 to 90 minutes, we're going to give you $1 million. How many of you think you could do it? And a bunch of people raised their hands. And he said, well, the action didn't change. Making a sale in the next hour the action was the same. The only thing that changed was the motivation. The root word of motivation is motive. And so that's your why. And so motivation isn't going to get you there, but the motive will, which is going to get you to discipline, that's going to give you the consistency that you need in order to be great. And so if you're struggling with your discipline right now, I want you to go back. Can you write down? Can you create more? Can you go deeper in whatever it is that you want to apply discipline to, and come up with some deep reasons why that gets you fired up, and then watch, it'll become a little bit easier for you, because it's going to take discipline. In order to be great, you got to be consistent. But in order to be consistent, you got to be disciplined, because you're not going to feel like doing it all the time. So consistency beats intensity over time. Show up daily, not occasionally. Right? We all know those flash in the pans. Boom, they're excited 1 minute, next minute they're not. They're working hard 1 minute, the next minute that they're not. Over time, those talented people that are occasionally great, occasionally motivated, are going to lose to the people that are consistently grinding. It may not be a year. It may not be this year, but it'll be sooner than you think. Progress isn't always visible. That's why they say you got to trust the process. You got to what? The process? You got to trust the process. You got to believe and trust in the process, because there's times that it's you can't see the growth that you're having, because it's taking all this work in the process, but you can't quite see yourself getting the outcome right now. You only got inches better. In inches, that ain't getting you no first downs. That ain't winning you any awards. This small growth that you had this small incremental growth that you had looks like it's really not moving much. It's like, let me just take 3 yards at a time, 3 yards at a time. Well, in football, 3 yards at a time, 4 times, get you a first down every time. All right. And even if we start at the 1 yard line, 10 first downs, we're going to have a touchdown, even if it's 3 yards at a time, 3 yards at a time, it may be slow, but we're going to get there. And so it may not look like you're moving far in the process. That's why you just got to start getting comfortable with loving and trusting the process. And the more that you apply the process, the more that you'll learn to trust it, because it applies to so many different things. It'll apply to your technology business. It'll apply to your tennis game. It'll apply to your golf game. It'll apply to your wrestling game. It'll apply to your solar business. It'll apply to whatever it is. And once you start to win in one area, and then you say, man, let me try this out. Let me apply the process over here. And the process means that's not a get rich quick. That's not an overnight thing, but I'm going to just put pressure on the process here. You'll start to learn how to trust it, because you see what the end result becomes, and you get comfortable just loving that process, because you got to get comfortable with the journey, because the journey is where life is at. That's where the joy of life is at. Like, too many people got destination disease, and that's why there's problems, is there is no real destination other than death. Like, you're either going to go backwards or you're going to go forwards. And if you don't get your mind focused on forward movement and progress, then you're dying, growing or dying, growing or dying, growing or dying. And so long-term growth and fulfillment is in constant growth, constant progress, which is constant process, and temporary discomfort is what leads to long-term fulfillment all the time. If you can't get uncomfortable, I got a mentor of mine close. If he's not already hit the billion, he's on his way. He's almost there. If he's not already there, planes, jets, all that stuff. He got all that. One of the top 3 things I think he just pounds into my head whenever I talk to him is, you got to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. You got to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. There's no growth in the comfort zone. Champions master the basics. They don't skip steps. The fundamentals aren't fun, but the fundamentals are where champions are won. And when you start to take control of your mind and train your mind to follow through, you build confidence and respect in yourself. Right? You can't really love nobody else if you can't love yourself. You can't give the way you need to give until you can build this confidence in yourself and have respect for yourself. I think a part of people getting down is that, like, they're not having this self-respect for themselves. I think the self-respect builds when you learn to take control of your mind, when it's like, yeah, I didn't feel like doing it, but I did it anyway. I respect that person in the mirror. Training your mind to follow through what it is that you tell it to do is what starts to build that confidence. And discipline makes you dependable to yourself and others. You got to be reliable, dependable, and trustworthy if you want to lead at a high level. Discipline is what makes you dependable, right? On the other end of discipline, if you lack it, is excuses, right? Like, look at dependable. Not dependable is late to the meeting, late to the lunch, forgot about coming to get me, forgot to meet at that time, forgot to do what you said that you were going to do. Dependable. Like, opposite of dependable. Not dependable. Needs reminded all the time, not for sure. Because that's a lack of discipline. And you could be a good person but people can't depend on you. You're like, well, what do you mean? I'm always there for you. I'm always there for people. You know my heart. You know my goodness. You know how, trustworthy that I am. Yeah, you're trustworthy, but you're not dependable and reliable. So I can't depend on you. And so if you're going to lead others, the first person you got to lead well is yourself. People that don't lead themselves well over time have a hard time leading other people well. And usually on the other side of obstacles, hurdles, and resistance is growth. That's why you got to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. That resistance is a signal not to stop, but to push forward. That resistance, temporary resistance, keep knocking, push through it. And on the other end of that is where growth is at. And so we got to choose discipline over motivation. And guess what? You know how we string together a good year? By trying to lock in for a month. You know how you string together a good month? By locking in for the week. So let's take it this next week. Okay, 1 week right now, 1 week. Let's focus on the next 7 days. Where do you need to apply discipline over motivation that you don't feel like it? Let's also come back to your New Year's resolutions right now. What did you say you wanted for the new year? Now we're about past the first quarter here. What did you say that you wanted for the new year? What did you say you were going to do this year? What were some of the goals? What were some of the things that you wanted to accomplish? Where did you already start to slide off a little bit because you lost motivation or something happened, an obstacle or a curveball got thrown your way and you already quitting already? Let's get back on track. Let's cause this to be a moment of pause and reflection right now. Time out. And let's get back on track. Now, I want you. Okay, let's communicate a little bit the next few weeks. I want you to hit me on social media and message me or message us and let us know where you were losing motivation and where you think you started to lose discipline because of that lack of motivation and what you're going to do to change it and take control of it right now. All right, and then go ahead and hashtag in the process of doing it. Go ahead and tag me with that discipline over motivation. Because we're showing up anyway. Speaking of showing up, we appreciate you showing up today to listen to another episode of the GRINDcast. We'll see you guys next week. Get ready. It's a new day.